Okay. First off, I want to give a random shout out to Anonymous Duck. Thank you for being on this document at 10:15 at night. Dedication. Okay. Also, I just wanted to start here because I'm not going to make a PowerPoint. I have a target, but at the same time, I think it's a little unnecessary. So if you're in fifth period, please complete your check-in. It's going to be obviously like we usually do it on here and also on your stream. And then office hours, obviously, if you have them. So this is what I kind of want you to see first off is you're going to obviously you're doing this right now to prepare for your trial. And so part one of your trial is going to be due possibly on Friday. Once you see this, then you can see whether or not 2 days is enough to do it, because for most of you it should be okay. So also, duly note, because I don't really tell you, but I do tell you, your Netflix and drill is due on Friday as well. So moving into what we're doing. Okay, so as a class, you and your classmates will be putting on a mock trial for Johnny K to answer the following questions surrounding the death of Bob. Did Johnny act in self-defense or was it second-degree murder? Okay. So we're taking a brief break, especially that's why I wanted you guys to catch up on your reading to see, because we have these alternate ideas of who Johnny and Ponyboy are. Well, especially Johnny. But we have Johnny and Ponyboy, the greasers, who are on the wrong side of the tracks. And Johnny has killed Bob. Whether or not you think that self-defense is going to be up to you to decide. But then we now have him in contrast with them as heroes. They legitimately went from being on the run to being labeled as heroes. And whether or not that's because they dyed their hair and saved some kids from a burning fire changes really anything is kind of up for you. Like, at least in the audience's view of most of the people who are looking at them, they have changed a little bit, but we also kind of realized that he gets hurt. So you're each going to be given a vital role in Johnny's trial. In preparation for your trial, you'll be using the novel to answer questions about your character's connection with the incident or your character's role in the trial. So there's I gave you a brief overview. So there we go. I'm going to decide this in a sec. But so I already chose roles for your trial. So let's go through one. These are actually also, before I start that, these are terms just as when you're looking at it. So if you didn't know what these terms meant, now you can know. Like if you didn't know that second-degree murder is defined as one of forms of three murder or killing performed impulsively but with malice, killing intended to cause bodily serious harm, or killing resulting from the defendant's lack of empathy for human life. Okay, there you go. Ooh, I do not like this gap. We're going to fix that if I can. Yeah, sorry guys, you know me. Okay, so Johnny's, you can see, for example, Grante, I know you wanted this so bad, and Braden, but you guys are right here. So if you scroll down and look at each character, this will also help you just see. You can see Cooper is going to be Randy. This is Bry, I'm aware, just in case. Ponyboy, we have arresting officer, and we have defense teams and prosecution teams. So yes, there are group aspects of this project. Try to make sure. If you are not on any of this, so there's about maybe, I want to say a good 12-ish of you who've been given a very specific role. If you do not have a specific role, then you have options. Either one, you can remain on the jury. I'm just going to assume that you're a jury member and you still have things to do. So don't think your vital is one of the most vital in the trial. Okay. So you still have stuff to do. In this case, I also think you might be missing something, but you're going to have more of a present role in part two. So that's the reason why we started off with this, is because there's a part two. But if you don't want to be on the jury and you would rather actually be a character witness, so for example, the prosecution and the defense are going to have the main characters that we just talked about. But if you want to be an optional witness listen for this, for your class. So when you do this, you bring this person into your class. So what ends up happening is, and just so you know, third period, Mikos is going to be Dally if he wants it. Where is it? Here we go. Mikos wants this to happen. So then when you go into doing optional witnesses for a third period, this is why this is a decision if you want it. You're going to have to add in at least like a question or two for Dally, because you technically have Dally because he's preparing a witness statement. Does that make sense? I realize that half of you are going to show up in my office hours because this is a little either self-explanatory to you or very confusing. So going back here, so you're going to work in, okay, I might like bold this. I'm going to like bold it, underline it. I'm going to make it freaky. Okay. There you go. Work individually on your designated role sheet. So if you're a defense lawyer or a prosecutor, yes, you have a team, but you're going to work for a short amount of time alone, and then you're going to come together in part two and do more of a group-based work. So that way you have one prosecution team. But at this point, I need you to show me that you can actually like do the work alone first. Okay. We would have had a judge, and I'm sorry, because this would have been super dope, but we would have had a judge had we been able to do this in class. But since we do not, I will be the judge. So if we do a formal trial, and I'm going to put up a poll. So if you want to comment on this video, or I'm going to ask you guys in office hours, and maybe I'll add it as a question for your academic check-in, but I feel like most of you do that before, whether or not you would want to actually have a Zoom trial for each period. But that would require that you would have to commit to showing up for a certain amount of time, for like probably like 20 minutes, at least during the office hours. And I don't know if everyone's like schedule permits that. So that would be first option. Or we could do what I was also thinking is if we did like we did with our little flip grids, is you would be able to watch in your class the other people's flip grids, and then you could make your decision, because part of it would just be you producing a flip grid. So if you were like wrote everything out and then you produced your flip grid, so you you said your response, and then the jury would be able to then go through all of the flip grids for that class, and the jury then gets to see a response. The only issue is then it makes it so that prosecution and defense, you're going to have your questions like prepared in essence so that the defense can answer. You know what I mean? Like if Derek can't answer, it's kind of like dumb to have a question. So yeah. So in this case, though, you have an opening argument, and then they'll have an opening argument that you guys are going to make together. So you're going to have witnesses, and they're going to have prepared statements, which is why when you go down and you'll see it has prepared statements for each witness. So they're going to give all their prepared statements, and then the prosecution can ask questions, and the defense can ask questions. And then this is like the whole entire project. So mind you, we are not going to get through this until at least next week, but jurors will individually look over their notes and take a vote on the provided verdict slip of paper. So that's going to be done digitally. So, woo. And then I'm going to count the votes and declare a verdict. I don't know why I said you're a teacher. So if you want to, I can have one jury member read the verdict if you really deeply want. I'm not sure what your questions honestly are going to be, which is why this isn't as much of a answering questions section yet, just because I have no clue what you're going to have questions for. But for example, I just want to show you one case of at least somebody who's going to be a witness. So for their first part, they're going to have a prepared statement. So it's going to be, and I'm going to alter some of this between first and accelerated, non-accelerated possibly. But so it's provide 2 paragraphs with your detailed account of what happened on the night of Bob Dust and your role in the incident. Brother, you all have your text, so you should be able to use this, okay? Part 2 would be provide one paragraph of reasoning as to why you should not be charged with second-degree murder. So if you looked at 7, you can use this. I'm trying to help you here, fam. Why then, if you're Pony Boy or Johnny or and on the defense, etc., would this not be considered second-degree murder? And you can use the definition as a way to support it. You can also use self-defense to support it. As you write, consider the questions the prosecution and defense may ask you in order to prepare. So think about that, okay? That would be all you have to do for Friday. So if you didn't notice, and I'll show you actually in a sec. Wait. Let's see. I have no clue where I just took, guys. 20. It's 20 April. That's why. I was like, where am I going? There we go. So if you looked at 20 April, I'm just taking you on a trip, everybody. It's a fun trip. You guys would have to submit your part 2 on Tuesday. So I'm going to give you part 2 on Monday, and then you would have to be done with it by Tuesday. So, and then I just want you to duly note this. That technically means that I just want you to understand this. I'm not going to come after you like a Nazi if you don't have it done by Friday, but I want to see that you have done something by Friday because this is not significant enough. But if you need the blanket of this weekend, I'm calling it a blanket of this weekend to get your trial together, then you will technically have until Monday, and then we're going to start part 2 of your trial. Okay, so don't freak out on me. So if you need to start giving me questions on Thursday, then they should be answered by for sure Friday, and then you will have Friday for sure to do this, okay? But outside of that, let me know if you have any questions, and I'm excited. This is going to probably be dope. I'm trying to make digital education more entertaining than just you reading and answering a question on Google Classroom. But solid sauce. Bye, guys.